Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. We had a 2-hour delay because it snowed. It's February and it's snowing still. It baffles me. Yesterday was like stinking, what, 60, 70 degrees outside? The sun, and now my contact's like hurting. I hate it when that happens. So I just got in. I probably have maybe about an hour before my meeting at 10 o'clock. The kids will arrive at 11. And then our date ends at 3:30, just like always. So I'm gonna go in and figure out my plan for the day and change up my schedule. And I'll show you guys what it is that I do once I get that done. I am forever grateful to my mommy for getting me snow boots. Okay, so I went to, where was it? The Dollar Tree, I think it was. But we are actually celebrating Valentine's Day tomorrow because we didn't want to do it during like the middle of the week. And next Friday we have like a half day because we have conferences in the afternoon. So I went and bought a couple of things. I did, and I always do this, but I will always go out and buy extra Valentines, only because it never fails. Either a kid forgets, a mom is busy, something happens, and they just can't go out and get Valentines. So I went out and bought a few. I know my partner teacher is gonna get a few, and I'm thinking about stopping at Target and doing that. But I'm also making sugar cookies tonight because we are decorating sugar cookies. So I think the plan is that on tomorrow we're gonna have like minute to win it games. We'll have a cookie decorating, and then the kids are decorating their own boxes and bringing those in, and then we're swapping that. So also found at the Dollar Tree mechanical pencils and gel pens, because for one of like our dojo coupons that they can purchase, it is a gel pen or a mechanical pencil, so the kids will be excited about getting some more of those. And I found these little mini dishes. I have no idea what I would use them for right now, but I did go ahead and buy 2 of them because I just don't know. Like, I feel like I could use them. I could definitely use them in kindergarten, especially when I did math, because you could put little counters inside of these and have them on a little tray. And so when you're doing a small group lesson, you could just pass out the little trays and have those, the bell's ringing, but you could pass out the little trays with all of the little manipulatives in them, and the kids could use these. So, idea there. I bought Hershey's Kisses too. And then I bought a bunch of like table covers. So, yep, I have an hour before I have to get ready for my meeting. I need to put my morning message and get my game plan ready, because I told you guys I would show that to you, and I have yet to do that because I just walked in. I did take off my snow boots and put actual shoes on because I can't wear those all day. It just can't happen. So I have now taken my kids to special. We've already had lunch, and I wanted to show you guys how I kind of plan my days out when I do have these like 2-hour delays. So I mentioned this before in one of the other, I don't remember, it was just a different vlog video or something to that extent, but I talked about having a daily task tracker, and this is what it looks like. So it's just a daily task tracker. It has times on one side, and then it has a top 3 with tasks that I have to complete, and then a block here that you can use for any kind of special information that you want to put. So what I did was I just go through and I put down that I had my MCL committee from here. The students start to arrive here at 11:40. We had lunch. Right after lunch we picked up at 12:10. We have writing special. It comes at 12:50. And then I did, I'm going to have my read aloud, and then I'll be doing, finishing up with some DRAs, assessments, and then they're going to have work time until 3:30. It's easier for me if I just plan it out this way versus me trying to go off of like lesson plans or something to that extent, because it's just an all-day mess. So I just kind of re-plan my entire day and make it fit for what exactly that I need to get done that day. And then I'll put down my top 3 here. So I put DRA finishing. I need to do some grades, which is going to happen this evening. And then I'm working on a standards book that I want to finish as well. I have some different tasks here, but it has student information, so I did not want to show it to you guys. But these are just tasks that I need to complete for the day. It always happens that on these types of days, I feel like I'm a little more scattered and I need to make sure that I'm writing everything down, and this just helps me to be able to write everything down, so it keeps me very organized. That's kind of how my day has flown. We've already done writing. This morning we did a morning meeting and it lasted up until lunch because they're working on their trees that we're going to put up for when we have conferences next week, which I'm very excited about. So now it's going to be just doing DRAs this afternoon, finishing up some assessments and going through and checking for grades. So I have a couple of other things that I will show you guys after school. I have a couple of other things that I'm doing just as far as like organization for my day-to-day basis that may be beneficial for you guys to see. I need to clean up a little bit of my area, put up some DRA books, just like the odds and ends little stuff. They are starting to work on their research. I don't remember if I talked a little bit about some of their research, but my kids have been doing magnetism and science. So to kind of pull in some of that science that she is teaching, I am having them do research on science, where hers is more exploratory science. Mine is really going to be about the facts, that type of thing. So they've been researching. We've done Gale website research, we've done research from a book, we've done research from articles, and we've been collecting index cards. So I've been teaching them how to take an index card, and I'm looking around because I'm trying to find an index card that I can show it to you. Okay, this one, these are not all the way correct. So I'll explain to you what it is. But on one side, they're writing if it's a book, they're supposed to be putting book up here, or if it's a website or article, and then they name the title of that. So he should have been putting book and then magnetism, but since I know what they are, I'm just gonna have to pull him off to the side and be like, hey, you're supposed to write book and then write magnetism. So they put the source that they got it from here, and then on the back of the card, they're writing the information that they are gathering. So any kind of detail is what goes on here. Now what I have done is using Google Classroom, I pushed out a doc where it's like nothing, like it is nothing fancy at all. But it's nice because I can monitor what they're doing. So I pushed out this document, magnetism research paper. Now where it says magnets are everywhere, none of them have that. So they are receiving it like this. So it is blank and it has spots for each of the different sentences that they have to write, because this is our burger paragraph and they have 3 paragraphs that they have to write. So with this group, what I just did is I went through and we talked about topics for each one, and because this is a group that needs a little bit more guidance, I went on ahead and set up their topics for each of their paragraphs. Now they're going through with their index cards and they're looking for the details and the explanations to go along with each of those topics. This is nice because I can go through and look at it. They're doing their brainstorm here, and then I just taught them to enter down and then create, you know, a title page or title, and then start their paragraphs here. I know this is nothing. I just wanted to show them what it looked like when you tab. So we talked about tabs and what that should look like so they can start building and writing their paper. But this is what I pushed out to them right there. And then they took it into their Google Docs and they're working on it through there. What I love about that is that I can go on and look to see what each kid has done. So I can see all of the assignments, all of the kids who are on it, what have they done on it, which is really, really nice. I love, love, love that. And it's so simple because I can create a document and then push it out to them, and then make sure to like click down that says make a copy for each student, and each of the kids don't have to go through this whole mess where they're having to resave it and rename it, all that other business. Like they don't have to do any of that. Like it already automatically saves a copy with their name on it, so they don't have to go through that whole mess, which is really, really nice. So loving that. Hey guys, it is very late at night. I have been making sugar cookies until just now for our little party tomorrow, and I look exhausted. But I really didn't get a chance to end the video because I ended up talking with another teacher at school for a while, just about curriculum and teaching stuff. So the time got away from me, and then I realized, oh my goodness, it's super late. I need to go home. And got home and just got busy with the family and then baking cookies. So I did not get a chance to show you guys what it is that I'm working on. And this is by no means like my idea. I will tell you straight up that this is definitely not my idea. I got this from my partner teacher, who is absolutely amazing. And she is doing this with math. So I figured I would do the same thing with reading, just because it paints like a really nice little picture of what kids are doing and then where they're going to be going next. So here's what it looks like. It's just some of these are laminated. So some of these little cover sheets are like laminated, and then there are these little graph sheets on the inside like that. And I used my little, I don't even know what to call these, like that little click hole puncher. I don't know. But I used those with one of these, and these are awesome because they just snap open like that, and then they snap close, which is pretty nice. So you can insert more things inside of it. So I broke it down just by some of the units that I teach. At the beginning of the year, I'm starting with character traits, typically with realistic fiction. And here are all of my I can statements that I have done for this one particular unit. And then on the back, so this allows me right here to be able to put the kids' names to tell me which group that they are actually going into, if that makes sense. Then here, I have a spot for names, and then I have those I can statements. I just break them down into, I didn't even like type them in because I just wanted to print them and get it ready and going. So now I got to go back through and add grades, or if they've mastered the skill. So then I add just like a quick little 1 word, 2 words to tell me which of the I can statements that it meets. And then as the kids are meeting them or showing that they are proficient in it or mastered in it, then I will add some of those markings here. Once they do that, then they go into, summarizing realistic fiction. Again, just some of the I can statements that I do for some of those I can statements that I do for realistic fiction, summarizing realistic fiction. And then as the kids are showing if they are proficient or showing mastery within them, I will kind of add their markings here so that I can keep track of them. So I do that for pretty much everything. Right now I have it for realistic fiction and character traits. Then I have it for summarizing realistic fiction. I have them for character traits and summarizing in traditional literature and also historical fiction. And then I did close reading for informational, and then biographies was a separate one. So those are kind of like roughly my units that I will teach. And this is just allows me to be able to keep track of my kids a little bit better than what I've been doing, because I feel like I have like just a few sheets that are just all over the place. Now it's like inside of this little booklet. I have to make a little cover sheet so it looks pretty and put together. But then I wanted to show you something else that I'm doing with it, and I don't have it printed because it is by no means ready yet. But this is the idea that I'm working on. So what I'm doing here is now I'm creating lessons for each of these units. Now, this does not mean that I'm going to teach this lesson and then move on. Some of these lessons may be taught multiple times with various types of text, different text complexities, and then they may be reviewed and gone back to time and time again. But this is just a spot for me to be able to put the topic, the objective, the lesson plan, and then the materials. And then what I'll do is I will actually put them back here so that I can keep track of the lessons that I'm teaching. So then when I go to make my actual lesson plans for the week, I can just say, oh, we're on lesson 3 for informational or something to that extent. And it'll all be inside of this nice, neat little packet, if that makes sense. The color is awful in here. So for example, this would be close reading for informational. I have text features, tagging a text, talking with the text, what's important versus interesting, inferring vocabulary, which I think I'm going to flip those two, to be honest. Then we have finding keywords in a sentence versus like underlining the entire sentence, looking for details in an informational text, finding the main idea. It just kind of gives you like a breakdown of what it is that the kids are doing. And then the I can statements, like the objectives and I can statements, will also come from like this little sheet right here, if that makes sense. And then I'll have like the actual lesson and then the materials panned out here. So like I said, this doesn't mean that I'm actually going in order for these. I may have to stay, you know, multiple days in this and then using just a various amount different types of text with kids so they're able to understand that skill. But it just tells me, like, as a progression, here's kind of the idea of how I would take them for informational and how I would teach informational. And I'm breaking that down, but I may spend more time on one of these lessons and just using more different types of text with those lessons. And I can always go back and like retweak things, but it's a general idea. It'll go behind their little checklist here, and then I will have this one laminated as well so that I can just be able to refer to it back and forth. But it's a nice little spot for me to be able to kind of put my units, have my lessons, and then be able to keep track of what is it that students are mastering or they're proficient in, and moving them along the pace that they need to move along. Anyways, I'm really excited about it. This coloring is awful in this like light when it's this dark. Sorry. But I am really excited about this. I think that it's a great idea. I hope that it works out as well as I want it to work out. Once I feel like I get all of the lessons together and put together, then maybe it will work out a little bit better. And then the idea too is, like I said, like when you're teaching a certain skill, you have to also teach it with the different types of text complexity. So not only would you maybe start with just a simple like passage text to make sure that they understand what that skill is actually asking for them to do, then you would take it onto something harder, which is like a short story. Then you could take them to a picture book and then later take them onto a chapter book, so that they're able to apply that skill in multiple text complexities. But the idea with the lesson plans on this is that it's basically going to tell you like, how would you talk kids through it, or what would be the process of you going through it. So I don't know. I'm hoping that this will be something that will be an easy reference for me, and that will also keep me on track with where certain kids need to be going. Because like I have kids who are like, they get main idea, they get details, they have that, they're done. Why am I constantly teaching them that if that's something that they're already understanding with what we're working on now? Then I need to move them on to kind of that next thing. So the idea is that we're constantly pushing kids to go forward, while still, you know, working with those kids who definitely need that more time and that they need more practice. Hopefully this works. I will let you guys know after a while of kind of implementing it. Maybe give it a couple of months before I figure out whether or not I actually like it. My partner teacher loves it, and she has a couple of like lessons, like lesson plan maps, what I showed you on the computer. She has a few of those already for like some of her math units, and she says that it works out fantastic, that it works great for her. So yes, there it is. It's my little maps that I have. And I'm gonna call it a night. If you are curious about my planner that I showed you guys today with the daily task tracker, be sure to go and check it out. I will leave a link down below so that you guys can go and find that. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye!